This is about how tied arch bridges work. First, we are going to be examining this picture so we can identify the different parts of a tied arch bridge, and then we're going to see how they all correlate together. So a tied arch bridge is also called a bowstring bridge, as you can see up here under the tying cords. So I first want to identify this arch, which is in purple. There will be two arches in a single arch bridge. As confusing as that sounds, it's because there is one on both sides. You can also have double arch bridges, and they technically have 4 arches. They have 2 pairs, and then as you can see in pink we have hangers, which are strings. And then we have supports, which are at the bottom under the screen, and they go into the ground and help move the weight of the bridge and allow the bridge to expand and contract. And tying cords is what we're going to be calling our bridge deck, and it is where the string and the arches meet. So now we're going to talk about how a tied arch bridge works. So the tied arch bridge uses its strings to resist horizontal forces of the arch, and it keeps its strength in the foundation of the bridge, which, as I said previously, helps it expand and contract and helps alleviate the force from the arch. So the load is placed on our deck right here. I will be highlighting that in red. And then it moves up the strings, and it goes down to the arch to our supports. So the foundation is the horizontal force are resisted by the cords, so the foundation does not need to be as strong. So because we have our strings here, and it helps alleviate this pressure on our base doesn't have to be as strong because the strings are helping alleviate some of that load. So the deck is suspended from the arch, so it's not attached. Like, these are not attached, and they should not be attached. They shouldn't be like melded into each other. Typically, when I built a model of this bridge, what I did was I did tie them together. But there is a problem with tying your arch to your base, and that is that these are more vulnerable to break because this arch is going outward as the load is being put onto the bridge. And it is an outward stretching bridge, so the more load that's placed on it, the longer it's going to get. So it's not going to shrink up like how some bridges might. Because of this arch, it does expand. And that is due to the horizontal forces of the arches. And they are born as tensions by a cord tying the arch ends rather than by the ground or the bridge's foundation. So all this is saying is that it stretches outwards because it's tied and not bound to the arch's base. The arch is not bound to the base or the foundation, which is under the base. It is just simply tied to it through the strings. So, overview. Arch bridges expand outward. They first get the load in the base. It goes through the strings upward. Then, due to that weight, the arch goes downward. and the weight goes back into these supports.